The second round of 16 knockout tie in the 2025-26 Asian Champions League West, and at a time when fans in this region maybe feel the value of football even more keenly than ever, this meeting of Al Hilal and Al Sadd, mighty clubs from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia and from Qatar, seems to carry a little extra significance somehow. Welcome everybody. What a prospect here this evening. A statement of the value of football above all things, its unrivaled ability to bring people together, watching on all around the world, and we certainly can hope for a cup tie for us all to remember. It has all the ingredients, this one. Al Hilal, always seen as potential champions in Asia, but painfully falling short in recent times, and it's left a little bit of a scar. And Roberto Mancini set to try to make his mark on the Asian football landscape like never before. The man brought in with all his experience, wisdom and an incredible record to take Al Sadd forward mid-season, and it's been so far so good. He has the happy knack of pulling out big performances from his players, and Al Sadd as a club have had that over the years in this competition when it matters most, and Mancini is clearly and keenly very aware that he can tap into that here, even if it does appear to be Mancini and the visitors against the odds, against Simone Inzaghi and Al Hilal, the 4 times winners of the Asian Champions League, and since the last time they lifted the trophy, a recent run which is formidable, if not infallible. Runners-up in 2022 when they were beaten in the final by the Urawa Diamond Reds, semi-finalists in 23-24, beaten over 2 legs then by Al Ain, and last season same again in a format like this one in use this season, beaten in a one-off game by Al Ahly. So they know the jeopardy, and they know that they must be on their toes against Mancini, as dapper as ever as he makes his way out. And it's a moment that he's been waiting for, the chance really to strike a blow with Al Sadd on the regional stage, and maybe a blow for Qatari football in general against the might of the Saudi superpowers, one of whom of course has made progress just about in the first of the round of 16 ties to be played today. Al Ahly are through, but they left it very late indeed, and from Al Hilal's point of view, that is to be avoided if at all possible here this evening. Once upon a time, 2 Wolverhampton Wanderers players there, but in opposition tonight, Ruben Neves and Romain Saiz, friends reunited, at least before kick-off. Era for that football club, different era for the individual careers of those two. Neves has thrived at Al Hilal, and Saiz's international career has most certainly thrived. And of course, front and centre for what is sure to be a very big occasion, even for a player like Karim Benzema. This is the chance that the Al Hilal supporters have waited for, to see him playing for them in the Asian Champions League. The story of the season so far, an incredible run really for Al Hilal on all fronts. Prime in their focus, of course, has been this attempt to win this great trophy back. The current run overall is scarcely believable. No defeat since mid-2025. They were almost perfect in qualifying. Unbeaten, 7 wins and a draw in the group phase. 22 Asian Champions League points out of 24 to top the Western region standings, ahead of Al Ahly. And for good measure, in the first phase, we must not overlook that there was a 3-1 win in Riyadh against the team they meet this evening. However, that was before the arrival of Mancini at Al Sadd, and since he's been leading these players, there's a different air a different mentality and a different belief. Al-Saud recovered just in the nick of time to grab 2 vital group wins to edge their way through the group phase in 8th spot. Just good enough, but they are 8 clear at the top of the Stars League back at home. And here in Saudi Arabia, Al Hilal cannot quite dislodge Al Nassr in the Saudi Pro League. Unbeaten, but still 5 points adrift. 8 draws have held them up in that competition. There has to be an outright winner in this game tonight. Their fans also have a King's Cup final to look forward to as well later. But whatever about their hopes of somehow claiming the Saudi Pro League title, the hunger to win the Asian Champions League for the 5th time is unmistakable. After tonight, the 2 regions are mixed in the draw, west and east. So we know that whoever comes through will start to prepare to meet Vissel Kobe. But of key importance is the scheduling in this competition. And it's going to be a very quick turnaround indeed, because the quarter-final for the winners of this game comes up as soon as Thursday. Our referee from Australia, Sean Evans, leads the players out here in the Prince Abdullah Al Faisal Sports City Stadium in Jeddah. Footballers of the very highest quality wherever we look in this lineup tonight, from the goalkeeper of Al Hilal, Bono, to Benzema at the front end of their team. And we caught a glimpse there of the one and only Roberto Firmino, who has every intention of replicating what he did last season with Al Ahly. So here we go for a place in the quarter-finals. Highest level of football in this part of the footballing world, undoubtedly. And the schedule these players must adhere to is certain to be a test in itself. So who is ready to excel? Al Hilal without Khalidou Koulibaly. He was replaced in the second half against Al Kholoud by Ali Lajami. Sultan Mandash, another substitute in that game, is in for the absent Malcolm. And And an Asian Champions League debut for Al Hilal, for Karim Benzema, the one and only, who started with a hat-trick on signing mid-season from Al Ittihad, and who claimed a first-half hat-trick against Al Kholoud last time out. Salam Al-Dosari captains Al Hilal. Whereas the armband for the visitors. Well, neutral ground technically, of course, but the visitors to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for this game. The Riyadh powerhouse, Al Hilal relocating to Jeddah. For Al Sadd, a first win in 4 against Al Saliyah. Mohamed Kamara, who returned with a 20-minute substitute appearance, and Augustin Soria are the 2 changes by Roberto Mancini. And maybe the biggest question, can Roberto Firmino, who led Al Ahly to glory last season, be about to confound us all again with Al Sadd? Rafa Mojica, incidentally, started to make his mark as an Asian Champions League goal scorer at just the right time, with 3 on match day 6 and a goal on both match day 7 and 8. But compare and contrast. Al Hilal unbeaten since the FIFA World Club Cup, amazing record. Al Sadd beaten on match day 8 in this competition by Saudi opposition in Al Ittihad. It left them on 8 points, the same tally as Al Duhail and Al Sharjah, and there was a very nervy wait, but it was Al Sharjah who missed out. And all in all, for Al Sadd, only 1 win since February in 2026 so far. But Mancini, few like him for winning the games that count the most all through his career. Can they do it here? Here we go then, the second of the round of 16 ties in the 2025-26 Asian Champions League. Al Hilal seeking to step on to Al Sadd right from the start. Teo Hernandez was keen to get forward. Down the right here, Motab Al Harbi. I think one of the questions might be who will really be deemed to be the leader of this back line without Koulibaly tonight. That might have been seen as a little bit of good news when the team sheets dropped for Mancini and his players. I'd be surprised if it wasn't mentioned, but we have 2 of the very highest quality coaches in world football in direct opposition. A great subplot all by itself. Simone Inzaghi, how to improve on perfection, really, in terms of results so far, and an incredibly consistent performer during his time at Inter in Italy. Can Mancini find ways and means to give Inzaghi problems to solve, apart from those little selection issues which reared up in the absence not just of Koulibaly for this game, but also Malcolm. They're very well stocked with alternatives, it must be said. But Malcolm has that little X factor in his play. It's a very good first touch by Mojica, incidentally, and here comes the skipper, Afif. Still alive. They were looking for Mojica. The big handers, Karim Benzema gets on it for the first time. Slightly rushed by Mandash. Michel Basham is in goal for Al Sadd. The Qatar squad, of course. Mohamed Kamara, who's going to sit at the base of that midfield for Al Sadd, as he did so often at his previous club. in France, Monaco. I've never known Mancini not believe that he can win a one-off game wherever he's coached against anybody. He says he's looked very closely at the evidence from the first meeting between these clubs. A comfortable victory for Al Hilal early in the season. It was about 2 to 3 weeks before he was signed as the coach. Sergio Alegre took charge of Al Sadd then, following on from Felix Sanchez's departure. Here's Afif, canny operator, good football brain. Pedro Miguel, here is Kamara, settling on it nicely. Al Sadd not rushing it. First Firmino-like touch, and the first hit from distance, and Bunu, top goalkeeper, took no chances with that. It came at a nice height, but he wasn't about to try to grab it. Nice strike from Kamara. A case of a very seasoned goalkeeper playing the percentages there, I reckon. Put it where it can do no harm. And no rush from Akram Afif. A nice confident start from Mancini's men. Didn't seem to strike that as cleanly as he might have wished, Afif. And Dosari, keen to get on with it. Well played referee Sean Evans, he sends it back a few yards and that breaks the momentum. Unfortunate there, Ruben Neves. Not very often they're made to feel welcome and at home here at Al Hilal on trips from Riyadh to Jeddah, but they're well supported by their own travelling fans. Roman Saiz. By Otavio, back to him, back to his captain at least, Afif, from Firmino. Kuki. And reverse to Barsham. Saiz. Trying to make a nuisance of himself. Just a little hesitancy from Mandash. And they're forcing Al Hilal back quite effectively here, Al Sadd. There's just a bit too much on that. Otavio did his best. That was the appeal for a free kick. Waved away by Sean Evans. Mujica looking for it. Both major global names in the coaching ranks, of course, Inzaghi and Mancini. But they walk in the shadow of men like Jorge Jesus, who at various points in his career has simply rewritten the rule book on how to put winning runs together. And of course, in the case of Al Sadd, there was a time when Xavi was winning all the trophies. Theo Hernandez. United's second bite at that. Kamara needs to keep it simple. Got a free kick, that'll do Al Sadd nicely. so good at getting inside the minds of his players, Mancini. Things were very unhappy indeed, I understand, around mid-October time. Felix Sanchez sacked on the 15th of October after a defeat by Al-Makhrafa. And they were looking almost out of the running already at that stage in the season in the Asian Champions League, but here they are, and there's a purposeful start from them tonight. That's a great looking ball to Firmino. Going to rid the danger. But there are warning signs here for Al Hilal. Firmino, so adept, of course, of playing on the front line as a number 9, but also off a front man, and that's what he's doing early on in this game, and making those runs into the spaces. What a great ball it was from Soria in his direction. And Soria came in to try to get the bounce of the ball, even when Firmino was denied. This is a very bright start indeed from Al Sadd. Let's see if this corner's a more well-struck ball. It was slightly better by Afi. Well defended, in fairness, by the blue shirts. Here's Milenkovic-Savic on the counter where they're so dangerous. Great ball, just a bit too much on it for Benzema. Great idea, perhaps I should have said. That's something that Al Sadd need to be very wary of tonight, I think. Pedro Miguel just composing himself, a little bounce of the ball. I wonder how many times it was said at the team meeting by Mancini, we are not to rush this. Claudinho. Moteb Al-Harbi wears Moteb on the back of his jersey. Claudinho to Kamara. On by Koki. Back to him by Pedro Miguel. Good movement from Al Sadd. Milenkovic-Savic couldn't find anything to hit up front. 10 minutes where Bono's made the only save of consequence. Barshams had nothing to do at the other end, the opposing goalkeeper. And Al Sadd looked right on top of their game, I have to say. But it's early days. And remember, this unbelievable unbeaten run for Al Hilal. That does wonders for a team's sense of self-belief. More good running from Al Sadd, even if Afif has come off worst here. Moteb Al-Harbi had to motor a bit to get to it. Giving the Al Hilal right back plenty to do here in the early stages, although they can ill afford a problem for their captain here. Not much recovery time, of course, if there is to be an injury problem or two. Hopefully the ice pack will do the job for Al Sadd skipper here, given this packed schedule. Circumstances have obviously played a part in that. The round of 16 has got to be squeezed in, along with quarter and semi-finals in the run-up to the final. Neves did well. Sorry, has been busy so far. Back from Paulo Otavio. Alhaba with the throw. Neves. Milinkovic-Savic rolls it back to him. Cano. It's a little bit lively for Theo Hernandez, but he's got it under control. More precise by Benzema. Nicely worked by Al Hilal. They've created the space. Mandash maybe not making up his mind quickly enough. It might drop yet for the blue shirts. Hernandez is in there. Al Sadd stand firm. Claudinho with a confident touch. And eventually he tidies it all up. Now let's see if Afif is okay to get moving again. He seems to have shrugged off that shoulder problem. Claudinho. Another good pass by him. Kamara. Out to Pedro Miguel. Mujica's on the run. Here he is. Player who found goal-scoring form in this competition at just the right moment for him and his club. A superb win. Away to Tractor really summed up their revival. I think they were very much the second favourites in that game. Mujica got the all-important first goal. Firmino with the second. And even though they then lost against Saudi opposition in Al Ittihad on match day 8, and it was a heavy defeat at home, 4-1. They just about had enough in the bank. With 3 sides on 8 points. Here come Al Hilal, and a fabulous piece of defending when it was needed by Kouki cutting across. He knew where Benzema would be. The long ball tested them out, instant control from Mandash, and he made a lot of ground into the Al Sadd penalty box before anybody came to him. So Al Hilal beginning to ask 1 or 2 questions. Benzema got it down. Comfortable for Barsham, flicked over the shoulder by Mohamed Kano. Been a very good start in many respects from Al Sadd, but looking through this Al Hilal side, the likes of Theo Hernandez, Milinkovic-Savic, Mohamed Kano, excellent, outstanding athletes. Very powerful runners from deep. That may become a factor to trouble Mancini and Al Sadd. This didn't trouble Barsham. Here's Claudinho. Benzema did well. Milinkovic-Savic. Just prodded it up there to Ruben Neves. It's another little combination between the two. And we've seen the damage that Mandash can do running at pace down that right side for Al Hilal. And again, the cover by the centre-backs was very good this time, Roman Saiz. A pair of intriguing matchups near side to us, actually, as we look. Afif getting down the left for Al Sadd against Al Harbi, and in the other direction, one of two occasions when Mandash has had the beating of Paulo Otavio. To Hernandez. Go long, Milenkovic-Savic in the air. That's in addition to his running power from midfield, of course, another element to his game. Saiz came off worst. Returned for the game at the weekend against Al Silia. Roman Saiz missed the previous two games in the Stars League. And in fact, only 10 league appearances all through this season. Another player, of course, will hope that the best in this season is still ahead of him. He had very little part to play in the Morocco squad. In their latest very successful tournament, the Africa Cup of Nations. Was there, but just didn't feature much. Thief's ball is not clear. Difficult one for Cano, he had to wait for it. Claudinho again with a lovely touch, and a little bit more composure in the cross from Pedro Miguel, and there might have been something for Mojica. He's overhit it by quite some way in the end. Jamie Hernandez. Benzema did well. Sari. Benzema again. I think when you have missed as many games because of injury as Roman Saiz in recent times, it's just going to be a little bit of doubt in the mind that he can go the full distance, and of course the possibility tonight in a game of high stakes like this of extra time as well, something that Al Sadd will need to keep an eye on. Cannot. Sari. What a magnificent career, incidentally, it has been for Salam Al-Dawsari as an Al Hilal stalwart. Possibilities on the edge of the box for Claudinho there. It was a little bit untidy from Al Hilal's point of view. Claudinho had more time than he knew there, or at least more time than he cared to take over that. Had he been more careful, they really might have had something to cheer about, those Al Sadd supporters. Al-Habi. Here is the aforementioned 34-year-old, 34 years young, Al-Dawsari, crossing. Milenkovic-Savic, I don't know whether he got a call from Al-Habi, but he took it down anyway. So did Benzema. Milenkovic-Savic made sure he took that down. Nice switch by Neves. Al-Dawsari crosses. Milenkovic-Savic looking for Benzema. They nearly conjured up something there between them, Milenkovic-Savic and Benzema. To say he's got a target on his back would understate it, given his record. Saiss and Kochi know that if they can keep Benzema quiet somehow, he was offside, but if they can keep him quiet tonight, their chances of coming away with a famous win are much improved. Mind you, a lot of teams have said that against him over the years. There'd been a lull in proceedings until that moment. Here we go again. Down the line by Hernandez, over the line of Al-Dawsari. Kamara was closing him down there, trying to nick the ball back for Al Sadd, and second time Neves just lifted it right up there, but it's too long for Milenkovic-Savic. Claudinho. Flying kind through the middle, and what a great run it was by Afif. Mushika. I'll be honest, very often he's not the most elegant of footballers. That was a shade unfortunate, maybe even a shade embarrassing, but the build-up was smart. Feels a bit silly perhaps, but he'll put it behind him, no doubt. The numbers have been so good. 18 league goals in 18 last season. Stars League, 9 in 19 so far this time round. And as I mentioned, key moments in their season, the 5 goals in 8 Asian Champions League games so far. Rajami. Al-Tambakti. Nearly got it off him. Al-Dawsari. Harvey made a forward run. Down the other side go Al Hilal. That's where Benzema likes to roam. Here's Cano. Smart build-up, Milenkovic-Savic, brilliant goal! Al Hilal go in front, absolute top draw quality. Sergei Milenkovic-Savic needed no second invitation to hit it. Theo Hernandez sensational in the build-up. What a confident piece of football all round. A team with the habit of winning. A team with the habit of never panicking under pressure. They have been under a bit of pressure in this game, but that was such a clinical finish. Not everything's gone Inzaghi's way so far tonight, not by any means. But you can hear what the Al Hilal fans think about that. The timing of the run looks great, but he's got so much to do to get to it, Hernandez. And how he picked out the blue shirt among all those white shirts in there. Well, that was something else. What a finish. That's what it takes to be among the favourites for the Asian Champions League, I guess. Long way to go, but Al Hilal go in front. And a very special way of doing it. As long as it stands, that is. Maybe they're checking for offside. The goal most certainly is good. It was a very good goal. Al Sadd have done a lot of things well in this game, but that perhaps shapes the contest now. Mancini and his men. The first thing is not to panic. That's in the Mancini playbook for sure. Here they come. They've got to also remember that there's a long way to go in terms of time in this game. Misplaced and out of play from Kamada. Not the first time by any means that they've been up against it, Al Sadd, in this competition this season. And as a club, long before Mancini's time, or the time of any of these players involved tonight, there's always been a little bit about competing on the regional, international level that's brought out the best in Al Sadd. In the late 1980s, the first Arab club to win the Asian Club Championship, the two-time Asian champions, 2011 AFC Champions League winners, and only last season, of course, they took Kawasaki Frontale to extra time in the quarterfinals, the eventual runners-up. So I don't think anybody's rushing right now to fill in the name of Al Hilal on the draw sheet for the quarterfinals on Thursday. Saiss. That's a bit ambitious. Sorry, but again, Bono taking no chances. Sorry, he's been very busy and very energetic, to give him credit. That might be seen as a little bit optimistic, given his record. But there's a first time for everything. He's certainly embracing this opportunity on this stage tonight. Here's another look at the build-up play. Hernandez won the race and still had the quality to find a teammate. Onside. Timing was perfect. The execution perfect. Claudinho. Cano got there first. Al-Dosari looking to see where the space was and where the help was. Got a free kick. Kamara retreats. Ruben Neves over it. Al-Tambakti. Took a bit too long over that. Najami. Teo Hernandez. Take it off him. Firmino keeps it simple. Soria. Kamada. Zeiss. To Otavio. Saw one for Soria. Must say he has shown up well and deployed by Mancini, not just to sit out wide on the right, but he's cut in off that flank on numerous occasions. That part of the game plan's worked pretty well. Well, most parts of the game plan have worked pretty well for Al Sadd. It's just that the extreme quality in the moment when the goal was scored was too much for them, and would have been too much for most teams, I would say. Well, Koki is having a look at this. It is Koki. Gives it to Afif this time, who crosses. Claudinho did well. Firmino. That's a helpful little deflection. And an exquisite leveller. Al Sadd strike back in great style. Claudinho got in there and lifted it into the net. Al Sadd carved Al Hilal apart, and they got their reward. 2 special goals in the first half of this round of 16 knockout game. Mancini's men most certainly did not panic when they went behind. Shade untidy perhaps from Al Hilal's point of view, played onside by Al Harbi. Claudinho into the space and just doing enough to lift it over Bonu and lift Al Sadd and all their spectators here and all the people watching back in Qatar. So Al Hilal must reset. Here's Ruben Neves. I did wonder at the start of this game tonight, without Koulibaly, who's such a powerful figure in that back line, such a great organiser, a player who sees the danger before other people. Without him, would they be a little bit vulnerable? And in that moment, I have to say, Al Hilal did look a little vulnerable defensively. That's the encouragement for Al Sadd. However, back we go with an Al Hilal corner to be taken by Neves. And sides at all levels so often seem a little vulnerable when they've scored themselves. So let's see if Al Sadd are set to defend it. Neves short. Headed back into the danger zone by Kanor. Eventually they do defend it properly. Al Sadd. Al Harbi. Savage not quite able to control it, even if he did chest it down. Hernandez stands his ground against Afif. Otavio made a mad dash out of position. That's the result. He panicked there. Now, is there a card for that? Sorry, saw him coming all the way. In his haste to get back into his slot there, the left back. When he charged out up the field, he was never going to get to that ball. Anyway, I guess they've limited the damage in the sense that it's only a free kick. Ruben Neves, too much on it for Cano. Aldosari got to it well. Hernandez whips it in, too close to Basham. Out it goes to Afif. Kamara. Lifted over the top, nicely played. Moshika gets it. Tidier touches that time from him. Looking forward by Kuki. He gets it back from Pedro Miguel. Roman Saiz. Paulo Otavio. It's incredible the road that football gives to people in life, the fate of people involved in football. If you'd have said to Simone Inzaghi and Roberto Mancini maybe, what, 2 years ago, you will be facing off two of the biggest clubs in Asian football in a knockout game in Jeddah in 2026. But here they are. Kamara got the free kick. Afif gets it going. Sub come again. Cleared by Neves. Otavio to Kamara. Afif isn't anywhere to be seen on that left side. Of course, he's over on the right flank just at the moment. And he gets the ball back here. That was a little untidy from Al Hilal. Nice change of pace by Afif. And again, right into the midriff of Bono. And again, a shade optimistic, really, from that range to beat the goalkeeper of the quality of Bono. Catching practice. did enough to take Al-Sad forward a little bit. Kamada. Saiz. Firmino. Kept it very well indeed. Soria kept it simple. Kamada. Pinged it out nicely. Afif. He's been causing problems for the blue shirts. There's the goal scorer, Claudinho, back to him. Here goes Afif again. Claudinho again. And that wasn't a bad hit this time by Soria. Very good spell of pressure from Al-Sad. One good block there. Great take and hit second time, and another brilliant block. Firmino back to Pedro Miguel. Soria. Saiz. Octavio. Put the brakes on. The half-time break not far away. Basham. Soria coming into this side so far. That looks a resounding success in terms of selection by Mancini, I must say. For a so-called defensive-minded player, they have Kamara to do that job, of course, and he's slotted in quite seamlessly, the young Uruguayan. 4 additional minutes. Octavio, flamboyant touch by him. Claudinho with the little fancy step over, but he's having a great night so far, and that's another excellent ball. Here's Pedro Miguel, and Al-Sad continue to ask questions here. Firmino. We're seeing all the Firmino flicks. And Al-Hilal again a little bit slow and a little bit tentative in their defending. Afif. That's been one of the big themes of this half for me. Al-Hilal living a bit dangerously, defensively, without Koulibaly. I looked a bit desperate at the end of it to try to get something by Al-Dosari. All they get is the chance to defend a corner. Now, Afif hasn't really got the corners right just yet for Al-Sad. What this time? Right out the back door it goes. Set move. Oh, and it very nearly paid off. Pedro Miguel saw that coming in his direction. Afif goes again, goes over. Nothing doing this time. Doesn't seem any after effects after that bang on the shoulder early on in this half for Afif. That's the kind of fall where one would really feel it if there was a shoulder problem. Guess the ice did the trick. Firmino. Ruben Neves did brilliantly to get to him. Right now, I think Simone Inzaghi would be quite happy to hear that half-time whistle. They keep on giving the ball away here. It's been a strong 10 minutes or so from Al-Sad. Afif. Pedro Miguel again joining in. Cano put the block on him. Teo Hernandez so strong. And he's got a bit of room to work with here, but he's going to have to run a long way on his own. Chopped down. Oh, the card's out for that. So the Al Sadd captain gets the yellow. Adosari. Lewis, little untidy. Mujika working so hard, getting back to help his midfield players. Our feet runs forward in his place. Here's Bobby Firmino. Still got it, Firmino. Still got the ball, I meant. But he's still got the tricks, as you've just seen again. And Al Sadd are going to end this first half in the ascendant, if there's time for a corner. Little quick step of Firmino is still as good as ever, isn't it? When this went in, Al Hilal looked likely to take control, but a glorious bit of build-up play from Al Sadd. Back on level terms, and deservedly so, finished off stylishly by Claudinho. Firmino himself would have been proud of the finish. This might be the last corner of the half. Out to the back again. Mujika gave himself a lot to do. He's worked tirelessly at the front. And that is half-time. And what an outstanding game we've got on our hands here in Jeddah, in this, the second of the round of 16 West Region games. Al Sadd may have been second favourites coming into this game, and most certainly when they went behind to a brilliant finish by Sergei Milenkovic-Savic, it looked like Al Hilal, with his great unbeaten run, would take control of this, but far from it. Back came Al Sadd, an outstanding move of their own. Claudinho came into the box and finished stylishly, and since then, it's fair to say, Al Sadd have perhaps been the more positive. It's beautifully poised. Al Hilal won, Al Sadd won at half-time.
to do our best in the next game. For this trail, boys, let your opponents and teammates remember your name.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Prince Abdullah Al Faisal Sports City Stadium. All square between Al Hilal and Al Sadd. Between them, they served up a treat, I think you'll agree, so far in this, the second of the round of 16 knockout games. Western region. We've had to wait a few weeks for this game, but it hasn't disappointed. And no knowing which way it will go from here. Al Hilal scored a great goal to go in front, having absorbed early pressure. Al Sadd came right back at them, carved out an exquisite leveller, and maybe, arguably, finished the first half the stronger. But Simone and Inzaghi and Al Hilal do winning better than anybody. They haven't lost since mid-2025. Unbeaten on all fronts in competitive action so far this season. So no obvious reason for Milinkovic-Savic to be unduly worried at this stage. Sean Evans gets us going in the second half. Al Sadd from left to right, right back in the contest, and here they come. There's Moshika. Sorry, got to it, the Al Hilal captain, and he gave it to Teo Hernandez. Big salute for the assist for their goal from Hernandez. Mandash went a bit quiet after a bright beginning. Kamara, one of the two players brought into the Al Sadd side by Roberto Mancini. He and Sori have been excellent so far, and here's their captain and talisman in many ways, Afif. Didn't cross it early for Moshika, but he did get a little ball in there. Soria did well again, and Firmino knows he can't go for that. But that's a little reminder that they're very keen to pick up where they left off. There's been one or two really brilliant blocks by Al Hilal defenders, and they've been needed. Bruno generally has not been overworked tonight so far. However, the pressure has been in and around that Al Hilal penalty box. In his pre-game interview, Inzaghi said we have to be at the optimal level against this Mancini-led Al Sadd side. And that was a very accurate prediction of what's unfolded so far. Neves clear. However, the captain couldn't keep it, Al-Dossali, and here's the opposing captain, Afif. He reverses it. Straight up on it this time with power from Roman Saiz. Straight into the midriff of Bonu. Just as well, really, for Al Hilal, but again, yet another example that maybe there's a vulnerability defensively. Going forward, they've been good. Here's Benzema. And what a brilliant job Kamara did there to help out. Saiz, of course, had been involved down the other end just a moment earlier. Now he's back where they needed him. Hernandez gets forward. Great layoff by Benzema, and look who's there again, Kamara. Outstanding from him. Moshika. No free kick. Half the Al Sadd players thought they heard a whistle there, I reckon. Al Hilal has stopped in their tracks. Good challenge by Otavio. Sergej Milinkovic-Savic. Ruben Neves for Al Hilal. of those league games where they could have cruised through it at the weekend. Al Hilal against Al Khulud. Game was done and dusted really by half-time. The exact opposite to the scenario in this game. How about that work? Doing the extra little bits defensively, while the centre-back got into a great position, and if that's either side of Bonu, that's going to be a very difficult save, even for a top goalkeeper. Size denied that time. Al-Sadd winning their headers, and Firmino applies the touch of coolness required. I think he's changed his boots at half-time, actually. Here's Afif. The new ones seem to be working well. Not that the old ones were bad. Milinkovic-Savic. Otavio again with that burst of pace, did well to tidy it up. Shika reversed it nicely. Soria. Certainly a game to get the competitive juices going for both of these two coaches of renown. I cannot think that either will relish this schedule, particularly if it does go to extra time tonight. Clean strike by Afif, but I don't think it was ever threatening Bono. It wasn't. Hernandez. Cano's taken out. Yellow card for Afif so far in this game. Kamara is surely in danger of having a yellow card for that one. There it is. Al Hilal won 7 out of 8 in the first phase of this competition this season. Draw against Sharjah Al Ahly, Dubai. Bono gets everything behind that one, and again the build-up is crisp from Al-Sadd. Claudinho confident in his work tonight, and by and large they are stopping Al Hilal from getting into their stride. Somebody on the touchline spoke out of turn from the look of it. There's Kamara, whose tackle started all that off. Nicely played there to Saiss. Not so nicely played. This was Claudinho having the hit. So there's been a header straight at the goalkeeper from Saiz, and a shot which was well struck that time by Afif. The previous one by Afif, which was wide, and now Claudinho from distance. And again, if that had been heading for the corner, who knows? So what can Al Hilal do to change the shape of this? Ruben Neves, Cano, back to Neves. He did well. It's gone in, brilliantly finished off. Al Hilal strike back. Salam Al Dosari, the veteran, the man who personifies this football club in so many ways. He comes up with a goal for Inzaghi when much needed. Made by Ruben Neves, and all Al Sadd's pressure at the other end is now for naught. Salam Al Dosari. We've had 3 goals in this game, and each one has been a collector's item. Mancini lost in his own thoughts for a moment. His team are playing well. They've been pressing at the other end. Neves was so composed, and he just had enough space. Al Dosari. That's top drawer stuff from Ruben Neves when needed. And even Benzema has been put in the shade in this game as a goal scorer so far. So the lead for Al Hilal restored. In many ways, the second half, like the first, Al Sadd from the start of this half have been positive, have created what chances we have seen, but it's Al Hilal who find the net. Kamara run off it. Now he needs to be careful. He's just picked up a yellow card, of course. No way through. Soria. That's 2 in successive games, incidentally, for Al Dosari. He also scored at the weekend in slightly more comfortable circumstances, it must be said, against Al Khaloud. It turned out to be a 6-0 win. It reaches Afif, and he's flattened. The Al Hilal fans have made their voices heard now. Benzema, he can't cut round the defender. Fouki did well. Soria. Here's Afif. Pedro Miguel. Moshika, can he get a shot off? He can! He's done it! It's 2-2. Al Sadd have levelled for the second time, and Moshika, the player whose goals really brought their campaign to life, has come up with the biggest of the lot so far. A brilliant finish. The angle looked tight. He hasn't looked at his sharpest in the penalty box so far tonight, but I did say on his record it's only a question of time, and the time has come. Bono beaten, all ends up. He's just got to hope that he's going to be given onside, because that is a proper centre-forwards goal. He had a lot to do. Wow, did he do it? Remember, he's slipping in the box in the first half, 1 or 2 very uncertain touches, but he just keeps going. Al Hilal are hoping that it might be given offside. Nobody knows for sure. There's a lot of people shaking their heads, wearing blue shirts and white shirts. It's really out of Sean Evans' remit completely. He's just waiting on a yes or a no. Broken through the 60-minute mark, waiting for this decision. Goal, he says. All square again. What a game. And now Hilal must start again. Mashika. I cannot think that all through this very long unbeaten run that Al Hilal have been tested more than they are being tested now by Al Sadd. In every duel, Al Sadd are there, being competitive. They've pushed to the limit, of course. They've had a great way of playing tonight. They've found space. They've exploited one or two moments of vulnerability in this Al Hilal backline, and at the moment they are snuffing out the threat of Karim Benzema, the goal scorer supreme. Any team that goes unbeaten for as long as Al Hilal have done, there are going to be difficult moments, but I think this is a level up and true to type through the career of Roberto Mancini, getting big performances out of players. To me, they still look like they've got more in them, Al Sadd. So Al Hilal are being asked to respond in a way that doesn't happen very often. Mandash. On the same wavelength with Al Harbi. There's Mushika being a nuisance. Hernandez reverses it. Well, Shami, nicely played by him. Still more twists and turns in this game, I reckon. Benzema backpedaling, can't get over it. Better cross from the right, as he acknowledges. Not been too many of these tonight from Mandash. So that's the call. Mushika angling his body expertly to make sure he's onside, but he's still got so much to do here. Didn't break stride, didn't try to be fancy with it. He'd have been proud of that one himself long ago, Mancini. By Saiz. Mushika's on the prowl again. He's gone down this time. It's actually Al Hilal ball for offside. So, time for a fresh look to the Al Hilal lineup. Pablo Mari and Leonardo, Marcos Leonardo, the players coming on. Not been really Sultan Mandash at his most effective. He's going to be withdrawn, and so too is Ali Lashami. Sure he'll make his way back out to watch what's happening, but Marcos Leonardo, of course, can make things happen. Played the full 90, the 4th of April against Al Tawon. 20-minute cameo as a substitute at the weekend, or just before the weekend, in the last league game against Al Khulud. Most importantly, of course, he is a goal scorer. Marcos Leonardo, he's got 3 in this competition this season, 12 in the league. Covered by Hockey. Not often they've had to defend a corner second half here, and the goalkeeper in a little bit of a flap. They've paid a very heavy price for it. Al Hilal go back in front. The goalkeeper never really sussed out what was going on at all here. Marcos Leonardo leads the fans in the celebration. And it was indeed his strike, and how perfect a strike. And talk about perfect timing from Simone Inzaghi. The goalkeeper never looked certain, he flapped at it. There are 2 players on the line for Al Sadd, but they cannot scramble across the line in time. And so much good play going forward for Al Sadd is undone, and I think there might have been a big deflection on this. There is a big deflection on it. Actually, the shot from Leonardo looked heading well wide. He doesn't care, it's gone in the net. But will it be his goal or an own goal, I wonder? That's largely academic. What's vital is that Al Hilal are now in front for the 3rd time. Will the 3rd time be a charm, or have Al Sadd got even more in them? I wouldn't rule it out. I did say Marcos Leonardo is a goal scorer, a proven goal scorer, but I never fancied it to take him about a minute to get on the score sheet with his first touch. Whether or not the goal actually goes in the book as his, he made it happen, along with the goalkeeping error from Barsham. The corners from Afi this evening have been a bit of a mixed bag. 1 or 2 which most certainly did test Al Hilal. They're ready for that one into the middle of the goal. It's been the ones actually out to the back post that have been the problem. What a noise level now from the Al Hilal fans. Inzaghi wanted to see Al Hilal just hold the ball, but Bono can do that now for them. the way it was drifting along, did he, Inzaghi? And having faith in his squad like that, rewarded. Make the change, and don't leave it too late to make the change. Afif, Firmino to Kamara. Mushika lays it off. Soria. Pedro Miguel. The decision here is, I think, a throw, not a corner. Next decision might be Mancini's, but they come again. This is unbelievable. It's now 3-3, and of course Roberto Firmino has done it. What a football match this is. It had to be Firmino making his impact for Al Sadd as he did last year in a different coloured jersey in this competition. They just do not quit. 20 minutes still to go. Who could predict the outcome at the end of this? The coolest man in town is Firmino himself. All in a night's work for him. Still as good as ever. The player who can make a difference. The player who still believes, incidentally, he's worthy of playing at the World Cup. This will help no end. And really brilliant again from Soria to help make it happen. He looks around to say, did anybody really doubt me? No, we didn't. He's seen it all in football, that's Simone Inzaghi, but I wonder whether he's ever been involved in a game as a coach where his team have got in front, a team that knows how to win, incidentally, knows all about winning, and they've been in front 3 times and been pegged back 3 times. Could be wrong, but I don't remember it ever happening when he was at Inter, for example. Pablo Mari. Neves, cut out by Paulo Octavio. Afif, nice from him. Paulo Octavio again. Mushika wants a cross. It's going for Mushika. Just seemed to pull up a little bit sharply there, Mushika. Trying to jog it off, whatever it is. Benzema, Milinkovic-Savic, Pablo Mari. Here's Cano. Ruben Neves, Aldosari, Theo Hernandez went down off the ball there. No appeal by him, incidentally. Milinkovic-Savic has it. Al Hilal continue onto the top of the net. Long by Cookie, a bit too long in all honesty for Mushika. Gives up on that one. Just conserve a bit of energy, and conserving energy might become really important both ways here. Cano. Almost. Well, the Sauri free. And Miguel did enough. Benzema spending a lot of time dropping into midfield. Pedro Miguel quickly into the tackle again, a bit too quick perhaps. Oh, the card is out for this. Suffice to say, he's not very happy about that decision. So that's 3 Al Sadd players on yellow: Afif, Kamara and Pedro Miguel. Ruben Neves takes it. Put it clear by Mushika. Yet to make a change. Mancini. Travels a long way. Goal kick at the end of it. Anything coming in the air, and Marshal Basham perhaps not quite so secure. What a very good knock on that was. I think it was Cano, and coming in around the back, Marcos Leonardo. He read it more quickly than anybody else, but he couldn't convert it. Every time the Al Hilal supporters start celebrating, Al Sadd are able to respond very quickly. That's just in the singing contest. Hernandez. Positive again from Pedro Miguel, not to be discouraged by that yellow. Savic, who might need a moment to recover. Out jumped by Boralem Korki. Takes quite a lot to out jump Milenkovic Savic. Pablo Mari, signed in January, incidentally, after spells at Monza and Fiorentina, rebuilding his career after nearly losing his life in that horrendous attack. That breaks kindly for Al Sadd. Al Hilal have to regroup. What a good run it was from the back by Otavio, but it flickers and then fades. Al Hilal looked a bit short of ideas really there, more than anything. It looked like a tired passage of play. Hernandez. Aldosari, who made it 2-1. Milenkovic-Savic, okay. Oh dear, well, tiredness is becoming a factor here. No wonder. There's been such intense action back and forth, so many highs and lows in this football match. But there might be 10, 12 minutes, maybe more than that, of the regulation time to go before 30 minutes plus. And still Mancini is keeping his cards very close to his chest. It's really quite a statement of belief in Pablo Mari, incidentally. He's hardly featured at all since the end of January. 2 appearances, actually. But no Koulibaly, and so everybody else has had to take a step forward tonight. Possession almost even. Afif. Soria back to him. Afif goes over. Free kick to Al Sadd. And he did fall awkwardly on that shoulder this time. It's the yellow for Cano. Wants 4 in that wall. Afif looking for a 4th goal for Al Sadd. Mashika's waiting in the... Oh. Back where it started. Saiz was also creeping in there. It's a half-hit shot on the end of it by Mashika. But he goes again. In fact, he got the call to leave it. We heard it. Oh, it flashes across the face of Bonu's goal. A near thing again. Mashika's going for this. Paulo Otavio decides that he'll come in. Oh, Firmino, in fact, looking probably for the far post, not to cross it. Not missing by much, but missing by enough. Now, there's a very mixed reception here for the decision to bring off Salam Al-Dosawi. Wabre has come on, who is a forward, of course. Youngster. Kano is the other player who's gone off. And Nasser Al-Dassawi is the other player on. Hilal have to set to defend another corner. Al-Sadd very clearly still very full of belief. Again, and that's the free kick we've seen, a corner kick, or I should say, that we've seen quite a lot of tonight, right out the back door. Al Hilal still haven't cleared it. Sorry, his shot's blocked. Marcus Leonardo got a tiny touch on that. Back we go for a free kick. Player who's taken over the armband. Was taken out, comprehensively taken out. One of appealing, but nothing actually to show for it. Maybe they were just trying to get him into trouble. Nasser Al-Dassawi. Just at the moment, with all these changes made for Al Hilal, it does look as though they've lost their structure just a little bit. Al-Sadd sticking to the tried and trusted. Here's Benzema. That sums up his night so far. So Bouabre here on the left-hand side. One would expect Benzema to be where he is now, but he spent a lot of this half actually dropping back into midfield. Al-Sadd have no problem breaking free again. Hernandez has to come across and block it, but he doesn't go far. Firmino, for once, loses possession. Benzema has possession, keeps it simple. Who can take Al Hilal forward? Advantage played by referee Evans. That's a good ball by Bouabre. Benzema reverses it to Milinkovic-Savic. Coolly done. Saiss cleared it. Saiss knew what he was doing. It's a handball and a free kick for Al-Sadd. And Firmino now with his arm in the air in apology. He doesn't know his teammates very much, all things considered. Bouabre maybe not into that box quick enough, the youngster. Koche, 90th minute. Claudinho out to Octavio. Kamada. Saiss. Milinkovic-Savic is down again. If he's not able to keep it in. We've got a minimum of 6 to play in stoppage time. Mushika trying to hurry Bono along a little bit. Afif did well. Panel Chavio not quite so tidy. Al Hilal get the throw. So if this game finally does go to a script, and let's be honest, the script's been ripped up 3 or 4 times tonight, what will happen is that Al Hilal somehow find a winner, because that's what they're so good at doing. Kamara, Milenkovic-Savic again goes down, and again it's ignored by Sean Evans, the referee. Firmino couldn't quite find the telling pass this time. Very fine win by Claudinho. Claudinho goes forward. Afif gets it. Is there a hero for Al Sadd? A player who'll be remembered. Kamara, could it be him? Afif. They've done all but strike the telling blow there, Al Sadd. Benzema's penalised, a little nudge on Pedro Miguel. And it was a little nudge. Taken in good part, I guess. Two or three times they might have had the shot, but they tried to play their way into the perfect position to finish it off, and it didn't quite happen. I don't think at the end of this game, whatever the outcome, anybody has to even ask the question of Simone Inzaghi, is that your toughest game in charge of Al Hilal? I think we all know the answer. Chavio goes for the line. Off for El Tambakti for a corner. I think basically the reason for the ploy tonight from Al Sadd, from Afif with these corners, when you've got players like El Tambakti, Ali Lajami while he was on the field, Milenkovic-Savic, Hernandez, Benzema defending, there are so many, Cano another one, so many players in the middle of that penalty box who are so good in the air defending for Al Hilal. Take them out of it if you can. But no real success doing it so far. Here's another variation on the theme, to the edge of the box this time. It's headed wide by Kamara. Pablo Mari. Benzema went for it near post. What a great piece of defending that was by Koki. Nasser Al-Dassawi. On by Milenkovic-Savic. Marcos Leonardo didn't get into his stride there. Mushika can't win it. There's supposedly a minimum of 5 minutes between the end of normal time and the start of extra time, but I think a lot of players are going to need every second of that. However, of course, is a different case. They actually have 2 players down on the deck at the moment, Al Hilal. Claudinho strides on. Afif wanted the ball in front of him. He has it now. Claudinho's waiting. Afif, still Afif, went for the glory by himself there, the captain. Xavier. went over very quickly indeed, as though he was seriously hurt, but he's actually absolutely fine, bar maybe a little nick on the inside of his mouth. I don't think even a trip to the dentist in the morning. However, the VAR deem it worthy of another look. Sean Evans begs to differ, of course, and I can't see why there was ever any serious question about that. Well done, referee. Free kick, end of. Or is he going now to the monitor? No, he's not going to the monitor. He's going for his pocket for a red card for something somebody has said, this time from the Al Hilal side. It was fairly clear to me that Evans saw nothing in the challenge. And the aforementioned free kick is now taken, and it's not bad. Afif gets into the box. We're on to nearly 97.5 minutes. Al Sadd one last corner. And they're going to get their wish. At times, Saiss and Kuchi have looked threatening, coming on to attack these set pieces. Look at that crowd of blue shirts in front of Bunu. Into the middle of the goal it goes this time, and Bonu's forced to make a save. I think it was Saiss who had the header, but not enough power in it. And Saiss, it was, with the last meaningful touch of an absolutely memorable game, not able to produce the fairy tale finish for Al Sadd. But this is a football match which has given us plenty, and it has more to give us now. Simone Inzaghi and Al Hilal unbeaten since the middle of 2025. They led 3 times in this game, and each time Al Sadd came back, and they've scored some glorious goals. Firmino after Claudinho and Mushika's previous efforts. An off night so far for Benzema, but you could never rule him out. Al Hilal need more. 3-3, and we await extra time. So, sticking to the protocol here, welcome back everybody. Sean Evans quickly summons the two captains again. We have a change, of course, in the case of Al Hilal, with Nasser Al Dassawi taking over the armband. As per the start, Akram Afif for Al Sadd, Al Hilal. Are satisfied with the outcome from the look of it. Surely Mancini satisfied with so much about the way his team have performed here. He has truly got an extra level out of his players tonight. Al Sadd, second favourites, given Al Hilal's modern history in this competition, given their incredible run, an unbeaten run, stretching for months and months now. And Al Sadd, so indifferent for so much of this season, but Mancini and his men rising to the occasion quite spectacularly so far. And Benzema has not been able to prove himself the difference maker yet. So an absolute thriller for the Asian Champions League at this stage, this round of 16 tie. Both sets of players are having to dig very deep indeed. They've both emerged with great credit, both sets of players, and it's been played in an excellent spirit so far. Three times Al Sadd trailed, but they never stopped believing. They never let the quality drop. They never veered off plan, the plan prepared for them by Mancini. And they're still in there, with every reason to believe. A further change by Inzaghi. Murad Al-Hawsawi at the start of extra time. Away we go again. A whole host of changes have been made by Simone Inzaghi for Al Hilal. Mancini still with many options off his bench, but clearly very delighted indeed with what his starting 11 have served up tonight. Deflection on it. Saiss and Kuki have been absolutely superb, the two centre-backs for Al Sadd so far. Nasser Al Darsawi. Ouabre. Forces a corner. He's had a few bumps and bruises along the way, Milinkovic-Savic, but he's still out there. Off Firmino. On point duty on the near post. Once more, Barsham less than secure. Anything in the air has seemed to trouble him tonight. Got away with that one. Kamara put his head on that first. Al Hilal seeking to turn the screw right at the start of extra time. Marcos Leonardo, who quickly made his impact. No Malcolm tonight. How ideal he would have been on top of his game in a situation like this for Al Hilal. There's just a kind of implacable resolve about the way Al Sadd have played their way through. Whatever the setback tonight, they just keep on coming back. They keep on playing to their plan. They never panic. Not panicking is really the forte of Al Hilal, of course, as they've piled up the results through this season so far. Something's got to crack here. What a game. And I must say, a fantastic advert for the competition generally. Straight at Basham, and he's rather grateful about that. Nasser Al-Dassawi on the slide. In fairness, it has been a positive start. Whatever Inzaghi said to his team before the start of extra time, but they don't take the chance. Now Al Hilal retreat, really, for the first time since we got going again. Back by Afif. Inside by Paulo Otavio. Saiz out to Pedro Miguel. Pedro Miguel, one of those on a yellow. One of three on a yellow for Al Sadd. That's nice, and he should be fresh. Is he brave enough to try to test Kuki on the run here? He cuts inside instead of doing that, and it breaks down. Afif. Al-Tabati tracked him all the way up there for Al Hilal. Not exactly a quick step from Al Sadd, but normally speaking, they know what they're doing when they have the ball, and they are very happy to stay in their lane, if you like, if I could put it like that. That's to say, play the way they want to play this game, not playing Al Hilal at their own game. They force the throw against Pablo Mari here. Kamara, Claudinho, Afif. Paulo Otavio is the nearest in a white shirt to him. He doesn't use him. He goes for the line himself. That looked out of play for me. Flag stayed down. Game goes on. Every Al Hilal player is appealing here, and now the flag goes up. I've got to say that's a new one on me, that the assistant won't put his flag up when the ball, the decision has to be out of play. One thing about the offside, a That's really stretching it. So far they're keeping Marcos Leonardo relatively quiet, apart from the goal, that is. Bit livelier down this side, Milinkovic-Savic, now Marcos Leonardo, and he's blocked. And Kamara, who has been heroic, filling those spaces and helping defend, has just done it again. And they survive again, Al Sadd. Back to Afif. Claudinho. All at a relatively sedate pace, this. Kamara just looks a little bit weary at the moment. A little bit of respite. Again, managing their way through this pretty effectively, Al Sadd. Good ball by Saiss. Good ball again by Soria, who's had a really big impact on this game. Probably the biggest game he's played in his career, I should think. They win it back. Firmino tricking his way through. It's off Bono, and it was Mashika. I did him a disservice. Palmed around the post by Bono. That was Mashika imitating Firmino rather well. Hernandez shrugged off it. Mashika was almost free. Next best thing, get a corner, which he did. So Afif remains the corner kick taker. That was like the first 2 or 3 of these corners tonight to the near post area. They weren't really very effective. That's a free kick against Marcos Leonardo, and now the card comes out for that. Sent on as an impact substitute. The first impact was very important, the most important thing, getting the ball in the net. Played his way into trouble, and moreover played his team into a bit of trouble potentially. Four again in the wall for Bono. Still not a single personnel change by Mancini. Afif. Weighs up the options. Afif it is, floats one in there. More by luck than judgment. Al Hilal get away with that. Nasser Al-Dassari was racing back toward his own goal. It was a lovely delivery by Afif, just floated it in there. And he was heading towards Saiss, and might have been a handball by Saiss. But anyway, the ball was actually behind him. And somebody else is in a bit of trouble here. That could potentially be Inzaghi this time. Of course, it would be rather unfortunate if a coach did transgress tonight and find it himself ruled out for the next round, which is only on Thursday, remember. Boabre. Can he show a clinical edge this time? No, he can't, and that's not going to impress anybody on the follow-up. Teo Hernandez. Barsham elects to send one out there. Milinkovic-Savic waiting for it, jumped above Firmino. Saiss jumped above his man. Otavio stood up to his man, who was Marcos Leonardo, who of course is going to have to be careful now. Saiss is still down. Some of these substitutes might have given up hope of ever getting on the field tonight, but that may yet change. Marcos Leonardo crossed early. Saiss cut it out. Difficult one for him. Better that, I guess, than a corner. Pablo Mari launches one at pace, and it's over the top by Milinkovic-Savic. Very good delivery. So we reach half-time of extra time. Al Hilal have taken it to Al Sadd, but they've not had the precision in front of goal, as that last incident proved. And Al Sadd, still to make a change in personnel, have survived fairly comfortably. No overall change in the picture of this game. It's still to be won and lost. Al Hilal 3, Al Sadd 3, with the second half of extra time to come. So here we go again, everybody. Nothing between them. It's 3-3, and a question now of who can dig the deepest. They managed their way through fairly carefully, Al Sadd, not expending energy unduly during that first period of extra time. I guess it's one way of reflecting on the differential between the two football clubs at the moment, that Simone Inzaghi, even without a couple of key men tonight in Koulibaly and Malcolm, has a fairly deep bench to call upon, and not the same at all from the perspective of Roberto Mancini for Al Sadd. But the players he's selected tonight continue to do an outstanding job and make life extremely uncomfortable. Remember, for an Al Hilal side who topped the opening phase of the tournament with plenty to spare in style, this is about hard work tonight, if they can get it done. But that's certainly not a given. Firmino is one of the changes. Bouabre. Not looked entirely sure at times of what he's expected to do. Let's see what he decides to do this time. Theo Hernandez, the veteran of many an extended night with the stakes at their highest. European sphere, and indeed at world level. Pablo Mari introduced as another of the substitutions, did deliver one excellent long throw. Let's see how good this one is. Al-Sada lining up, and that wasn't quite as threatening, I must say. There was more height and less pace on that, and that made the job easier for Barsham. The countdown is on from the referee for the Al Sadd goalkeeper. Best not to tempt fate there. That was a terrific layoff by Mushika if he meant it. I think he did mean it, but anyway, Al Hilal get the ball back. Hernandez has it. Bouabre. Inzaghi wants to see people arriving in the box, and this youngster is thinking about it a bit too much, perhaps, if I could put it like that. Pedro Miguel sees him off. Shouldn't be too hard on him. He is only learning the job, and he's up against a very experienced player in Pedro Miguel. But sent on by Inzaghi to make a difference. It's arguable that he hasn't yet made that difference. Barsham again elects to kick it long. Firmino got a little help on. Can he get to the layoff by Mushika? Not quite. Mushika's down. Has been labouring in recent minutes in this game, the centre forward. But game he most certainly is, and he's back on his feet, back hurrying up. Al Hilal harassing them. They have the ball back, Al Sadd. Out to Afif it goes. Can he go into overdrive on the outside? Just seen off. Pablo Mari. Run by Milenkovic-Savic. Marcos Leonardo. Inzaghi shows where he wants it played out to the teenager again. It's just not happening for him. Afif. Well, Tambakti was definitely not going to let Afif away lightly there. They're used to seeing their team prevailing, the Al Hilal fans, by one means or another, but surely this season they've never had to work harder. Just eludes Soria, but he's going to give chase here. Theo Hernandez is too strong for him. Miguel did brilliantly for Al Sadd. Not a good ball to Kamara. Al-Dosari almost nicked it for Al Hilal. Inzaghi wants to see the tempo kept up. Miguel is still struggling here following that challenge. The right back. Actually stood upon the knee there of Pedro Miguel, absolutely accidental. On we go. It's fair to say that they are fresher than a lot of the players for understandable reasons. They've given us so much tonight. Ruben Neves. Even with all the changes to the starting side, Al Hilal still with so many players out there of proven top-class pedigree who find a way to win. They found a way to get a free kick. Ruben Neves is going to take it. I wonder if it's in his thought process to test Barsham in the air, the Al Sadd goalkeeper here. They've had rewards from doing so. He might need a little bit of help with translation here, Inzaghi, before the latest substitute. Theo Hernandez, in that collision with Pedro Miguel, didn't come off without a little harm himself. Darcy comes on. Midfield player, Abdul Karim Darcy. That's all six used. Tentative appeal, half a chance and it's wide. Struck wide by Paolo Marie. Struck well, but struck wide. One of the fun things about watching Mancini as a coach over the years, nobody will sway him from his own belief. He will not follow the orthodox way of doing things. He's so strong-minded about everything, and here we are in this, what, 115th minute of one of the biggest games that Al Sadd's players are ever going to play in, and he's still out there with the same group that started. And what finer compliment could there be to them from the coach? But they're defending more and more. Marcus Leonardo's shots blocked down desperately, but quite brilliantly by Saiz. Does Mancini need to get some fresh legs, energy out there? Can they keep on hanging on? Through extra time generally, the pressure is built and built, but they stand firm like this. Pablo Mari's going to take another long one. Rosham's a couple of metres off his line already, and he's on his toes. He wants to come for it. He's got to reverse now. And anyway, it wasn't quite as accurate. What about this one? Milenkovic-Savic was attacking it. He's beaten. Afif plays the percentage ball down the line. That's not really what they needed, Al Sadd, at the moment by Claudinho. He looks particularly weary, I have to say. The fresh legs are with Al Hilal with all these changes, 6 now. But still not a lot happening for Bouabre out on that left side. They have a corner. Do they have a winner in them? Neves takes it, near post, Bouabre. I don't think he really believed. Hit and hope job there. Even the goalkeeper's got a bit of cramp. Which is obviously important considering where we may be heading. Darisi did well. Another wave of blue shirts coming forward, sweeping toward that Al Sadd penalty box. Although Sawi is not going to find Marcus Leonardo with it. Energy's in short supply now for Al Sadd, but time is in short supply for Al Hilal. Al-Darsawi. Nice flick on by Benzema. Marcus Leonardo, Milenkovic-Savic, no way past Saiz. Not a good clearing effort though. Here they come, Brilliant block by Basham, and it's wide, high and wide, and none too handsome from Al Hilal's perspective. That might be their last chance. Al Sadd all out physically, but they just keep getting in harm's way here, and when the chance came, it came for Murad Al-Hawsawi to be the hero, and he missed the target. And if we are heading to penalties, Al Hilal have got to hope to be a bit more accurate than that. And that young lady might well concur. So, 1 more minute. There was a fairly late decider in the first of these round of 16 games today. This would surpass it now if we had one. Ojika concedes the free kick, and it's all on this now. Well played, Soria. Could there be a breakout here at the very finish of it all? There might be. Soria gets the referee out the way. He keeps it going. Here's Mushika. He scored from a similar position earlier. Not this time. All those substitutes are still fresh, of course, and they were on their feet in hope. Now they've got to drive backwards quickly. Marcos Leonardo didn't go for goal. Benzema, no way through. It sums his night up completely. Afif comes away with it, and down the players go to their haunches. They slump onto the turf in exhaustion. Blue and white shirted players for both Al Hilal and Al Sadd. Al Sadd came out of their shell and very nearly created a chance in the dying seconds. Back came Al Hilal. It might have been for Benzema, but it's been that kind of night, a night of might-have-beens for Benzema and co, and Al Hilal have been held 3-3 by a heroic effort from Al Sadd, who have finished with the same group of players which started this game. I cannot recall in modern times any other coach doing it, but Mancini always does it his way, and who's to argue? He's got a magnificent performance out of his players here, and now it goes to penalties. Could Al Hilal's long unbeaten run be about to come to a conclusion here in a shootout? Key moments of the game. So finally, we're going to reach a decision, everybody. It's been an absolutely captivating football match, I'm sure you'll agree. After 120 minutes plus, no separating Al Hilal and Al Sadd. But could Al Sadd separate Al Hilal from their unbeaten record stretching back to the middle of 2025 in this penalty shootout to decide which of these two progresses to the quarter-final of the Asian Champions League to play Vissel Kobe as soon as Thursday. The two tosses by the referee, Sean Evans. One for who goes first, one for which end the penalties are to be taken at. Bunu, of course, an elite performer at world level, the goalkeeper for Al Hilal. It's been a mixed bag, to be truthful, for Al Sadd's Marcel Barsham, their goalkeeper, but this is his big chance to become an Al Sadd hero, an all-time hero, really, if they could dislodge Al Hilal from this Asian Champions League at this stage. They know the routine, but they're going to get the lecture anyway. Al Hilal used up all 6 available substitutions. Simone Inzaghi. Roberto Mancini must select his penalty takers from the players who started this football match very nearly 3 hours ago. But Roberto Firmino, who of course scored a goal and of course was a huge influence on it, he is the first to take aim for Al Sadd. He's been in a few of these, hasn't he? Big intake of breath, half a step, onto the post, he missed it. Bunu didn't save it, but it's advantage Al Hilal. Little shimmy. Bunu was given as good as he got. Long way to go. Mancini has good memories of, I suppose, the last major penalty shootout he was involved with, the European Championship final at Wembley when Italy prevailed. Ruben Neves against Barsham. Al Hilal go 1-0 up. So it's fairly straightforward in one sense now for Al Hilal. If they score every penalty, if it goes that far, they won it. This young man came into the side tonight and performed excellently. Agustin Soria, young man from Uruguay. Yes, he looks a bit nervous. Watching Bono all the way. Well, he kissed it off the post, but it went in, unlike Firmino's. And he's on the scoreboard, and it's level at 1-1. That was a waiting game. Marcos Leonardo came on and got the ball past Barsham with the help of a deflection very rapidly indeed. Now he's got to do it by himself for Al Hilal. And he does so emphatically. So 2 out of 2 for Al Hilal, and they're 2-1 up. Claudinho, who scored a delightful goal to make it 1-1. He needs to make it 2-2 here for Al Sadd. It's like a straight run-up. He's surely going to drop to the side one way or the other. This is the end he scored at. From the side he comes in. Same side he picked as everybody else so far, and it's clattered into the net. All square. Not a lot in it. Karim Benzema, a stellar performer for a decade and more at elite level. Now, does he redeem himself for a little bit of an off night here, or does it sum it all up? Benzema. Benzema misses. It sums up the night for him. It's not meant to be like this. Moving to Al Hilal. They can't believe that he's missed it, but he has. Rafa Mushika, whose goals really transformed this season in this competition for Al Sadd. Could he now turn the screw after Benzema's miss? Mushika, yes, he goes to the other side and he puts Al Sadd 3-2 up. Has Benzema's miss been the big turning point in this shootout? A little embrace with Barsham for good luck for his goalkeeper. Well, now the youngster, Saman Bourbre, one of those brought on late by Simone Inzaghi. Clearly he's a talent, but I'm afraid to say he couldn't make much impact on proceedings while he was on the field. What an ask of him now. Bourbre, he's missed it. They asked a youngster to do a senior player's job here, and they may pay for it. A second straight miss for Al Hilal, and it's very straightforward now. If Al Sadd score, they've won it. Their captain, Akram Afif, against Bono. Al Hilal have almost forgotten what it's like to lose a football match. Are they about to taste defeat? One of the favourites for the Asian Champions League this season, as usual. Are they about to fall in the round of 16? Afif, the captain of this modern-day Al Sadd team, does the job for Al Sadd. What is it about Al Sadd when it comes to these big occasions in the continental competitions? A great victory for Mancini. He's turned Al Sadd's season around. His players, who, remember, started tonight, have finished the job off in the penalty shootout. How does Mancini do it? Instilling belief in players who seem to have lost their way. But they know where they're headed now. They're right on course in the Asian Champions League. Al Hilal taste defeat for the first time this season in any competition. Mancini beats Inzaghi. Heroes to a man, his players tonight. And Al Sadd, as in decades past, when it comes to games like this in these competitions, they find a way to give of their very best and pull off famous wins, and we have seen one of them tonight for sure. A thrilling game. 3 times Al Hilal led, 3 times Al Sadd pegged them back, nothing in extra time. Benzema's miss in the shootout changed everything. Bobre followed by missing, unfortunately, and Afif finished off Al Hilal to send Al Sadd through to meet Vissel Kobe in the quarter-final. But they've not got long to get ready for it. And those players who've given everything tonight better get ready very quickly indeed for Thursday. It's an absolutely fabulous game of football. What an advert for the Asian Champions League this has been. Well played, Al Sadd. Their captain leads the celebration at the end of it. So 3-3, Al Sadd through on penalties, Al Hilal out.